Namaskar, I'm Anubhav Ranjan and you're watching Ritam. In a significant development, the United States has imposed sanctions on 21 Indian entities, including 19 companies and 2 individuals, for allegedly supplying dual-use technology to Russia. Nearly 400 entities have been sanctioned, 21 of them Indian, 19 companies and 2 citizens of India. The targeted Indian entities are primarily in the electronics and spare parts sectors, accused of exporting items with both commercial and military applications, referred to as dual-use goods. These include components such as lasers and drones, which according to US could indirectly support Russia's military efforts. Responding to these sanctions, India's Ministry of External Affairs, or MEA, released a statement underscoring the country's commitment to responsible trade practices and non-proliferation. The MEA stated, "We have seen reports on US sanctions. India has a robust legal and regulatory framework on strategic trade and non-proliferation controls." The MEA went on to highlight India's long-standing commitment to non-proliferation, noting its membership in 3 major international export control regimes: the Wassenaar Arrangement, the Australia Group, and the Missile Technology Control Regime. The statement emphasized that India has been fully compliant with relevant UN Security Council sanctions, including UNSC Resolution 1540 on non-proliferation. India's response signals a clear stance. While it respects international non-proliferation norms, it asserts the lawful nature of these transactions under Indian regulations. The MEA's statement also emphasizes a proactive approach in sensitizing Indian business on compliance with evolving global trade controls, underscoring India's responsible positions on strategic exports. Sanctions imposed by the US are not a fresh development. In the past, it has imposed several sanctions on India, including the time when India did nuclear tests. Like every time, this time too, US sanctions depict their self-serving agendas. Last November, the US imposed sanctions on another Indian firm, S12 Microsystems, for allegedly supplying technology to Russia. In June, the US ambassador to India cautioned that Indian companies engaging in trade with Russia could face repercussions. So these latest sanctions are neither the first nor entirely unforeseen. However, their timing is noteworthy considering current strains in India-US relations. Washington has accused India of attempting to assassinate Sikh separatist figure Gurpatwant Singh Pannu and has charged a former Indian official in connection with the case. Just last week, India and China reached a border agreement as a step toward resolving their conflict, and only days later, the US sanctioned 21 Indian entities. It is interesting to note here that India has never supported US sanctions on Russia nor promised to follow them. Trade data reflects this. India's engineering exports to Russia increased significantly from $680 million in 2022 to $11.3 billion in 2023. This rise has likely drawn US attention. The sanctions list includes examples like Accent Aviation, a Delhi-based spare parts company accused of selling 700 shipments to Russia, mostly aircraft components. Another, Moscow Trans, allegedly sold $3 lakh worth of goods to Russia, and Futrio sold $1.4 million worth of mostly electronic components. These are 3 of the 21 sanctioned entities. This situation reflects America's duality. On one hand, the US openly arms India's adversaries like Pakistan with warmongers such as F-16 fighter jets, apparently helping them to counter terrorism. Yet, when Indian companies sell certain electronic parts to Russia, they face sanctions and threats. When in a world principled on democratic values, will it be so that the US and its Western allies selectively decide what is sanctionable and for whom? For example, in 2023, Russia supplied 15% of Europe's gas imports, but no European Union members were sanctioned for it, while India's sale of spare parts is deemed problematic, a blatant show of its hypocritical policies. The matter around the sanction is crucial because the US has a strategic upper hand over multiple aspects, including its domination over the global financial institutions. They also control the important payment systems, enabling them to be able to cut off Indian companies from these systems at their own will. But India cannot and will not let the US dictate the terms of its trade and bilateral relations with other countries. For that, it's essential that it starts building on its own resources and striking a balance between dependencies and collaterals. Jai Hind.